Hello, amazing listeners of the Becoming You podcast. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast where we talk about the complexities of adulthood. I am your host, Bukola. On this podcast, we talk about everything and anything that has to do with us as adults. If you're listening to us for the first time, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, thanks for sticking with the podcast. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, I know you'll be asking questions like, what's with the style? What's with the look? What's with the glasses? Anyways, by the time you discover what we're talking about on today's episode, you'll join the dots and understand the reason why I'm dressed like this on this episode. During the course of the week, I went to the cafe to study. I love studying outside. I am able to concentrate more when I study outside the house. As I was studying, a friend called me and she was discussing something really important with me. During the call, this random person at the cafe walked up to me and said, "To have this aura of a very confident person, you speak so confidently and I like it." I smiled and I was like, "Thank you." However, I thought to myself, if only this person knew how I was drowning in self-doubt, I'm very sure that the person wouldn't compliment this compliment. In general, I found the whole situation to be cute and I shared it on my WhatsApp status on my WhatsApp. After sharing it, a friend responded to this experience by saying, "Fake it till you make it." Immediately I read a response, I just felt a kind of weird connection with the phrase like, fake it till you make it. It struck a chord in me, and because I've never seen the phrase being applied in a situation like the one I just described. When I think of the phrase fake it till you make it, or the concept of fake it till you make it, like most of us, I'm thinking about people that are living fake life, people that are trying to be who they are not, people that are just living in this web of lies, and people that try to portray themselves to be who they are not. Last month here, I started this new habit of reading fictional books in transit, fictional books by Nigerian authors. I'm starting from home. So I call it my transit read. So currently I'm reading a book by Wole Soyinka. I think the name of the book is Chronicles of the Happiest People on Network. I'm currently on page 5. I've consulted the dictionary so many times. I guess that's why it's Wole Soyinka. I mean, it wouldn't be Wole Soyinka if you're not reading his books and consulting the dictionary as you're reading the book. Back to what we're talking about. In the pages of the book that I have read, he was talking about perspective and he was trying to explain that a particular thing can actually mean different things to different people. It just depends on the perspective through which it is being understood by these people. And having that in mind, I decided to do a little digging about the phrase fake it till you make it. I just wanted to understand other things that this phrase can actually mean to other people. By digging deep about the concept of fake it till you make it, I made some discoveries. I discovered a new perspective, and in this episode, we'll actually be talking about this. Fake it till you make it. Could it actually be a new pathway to success? Could it actually be used positively? Well, we'll find out as we move forward with the conversation. Before we dive into the conversation of the day, how are you doing? How is your week coming along? Hope you had less stressful weekdays. It was just cool. I was mentally stressed. I was so busy, like not physically but mentally. My brain was working, and I was feeling so stressed and I was feeling so tired. I really don't know how to explain what was wrong with me mentally, that I was too busy to cook. And I got bread. I've eaten bread in different forms this week. I've eaten bread as burger, sandwich, bread and egg, bread and butter, like every day for like 3 days now. And I kind of feel sick already because I need pepper, I need flavors, I need something to excite my taste bud. I'm thinking of cooking something exciting today, something peppery. Yeah, don't forget to drop your comments about how you're faring. Now let's dive into the conversation of the day. Right before we dive in, let's hear what these amazing people think of the adulthood phase.
Adulthood is responsibility.
Adulthood is complicated.
Adulthood is growth.
Adulthood is maturity.
Adulthood is being independent.
Adulthood is stressful.
Adulthood has been confronting.
Adulthood is draining.
Adulthood is decision making.
Adulthood is resilient.
Adulthood is overwhelming.
Adulthood is fun and adventurous.
Remember, I'm not here to demonize this phase, but to say it as it is. During my search for new perspectives on the concept of fake it till you make it, I came across this very interesting quote that I want to share with you. And it says, you must be that person you never had the courage to be. Gradually, you would discover that you are that person. But until you can see this clearly, you must continue to pretend and invent. This quote was actually said by Paulo Coelho de Souza. He is a Brazilian novelist and lyricist. I was actually not looking for a Brazilian quote, it was coincidental, but yeah. So technically, one thing I discovered was that fake it till you make it actually means different things to different people, and it's actually applied by different people in different ways. But on this episode, we'll be considering two forms of its application. On one hand, we'll be considering the fake it till you make it that is built on living a deceitful life, and on the other hand, we'll be considering the fake it till you make it that is interpreted as manifesting your dreams, working in faith, calling forth things that you desire, and just living your testimony, basically. Like I said earlier, it all depends on the perspective from which you choose to understand fake it till you make it. So we have the manipulative side and we have the manifesting side. Although it has different interpretations, like I said, different definitions, one thing is actually very consistent, and one thing stands as the core essence of the phrase fake it till you make it, and that is pretense. Whether you're manifesting or you're manipulating or you're lying or you're living your testimony, in all of these things you're trying to pretend to have what you aim to have, or to have what you do not have, or you're pretending to be who you're aiming to be, or pretending to be who you are not. Okay, I actually did not know that this thing will come off as complicated as I think I'm sounding right now, but just come with me, you understand what I'm trying to do and understand what I'm driving at. For instance, people pretend to be rich. Like, there are people that borrow houses, cars, dresses, they just pretend to come off as rich people so that they can attract other rich people. By attracting other rich people, they're able to get into the carcass of rich people. So what do they gain from this? On one hand, by pretending, they're able to get opportunities or access opportunities that are exclusive to rich people, and gradually they become rich. On the other hand, they can actually miss their helpers, literally, because people that are supposed to help them, people that ought to help them, would not help them because you just see them and come to the conclusion that they're actually rich and they do not need further assistance. So I've heard a lot of successful fake it till you make it stories, and I've also heard a lot of fake it till you make it stories that ended as a disaster. The other day I was scrolling through, I think, Instagram, and I came across this video of somebody that was ranting about Lagos big boys and big girls. In the person's words, people pretend to be who they are not in Lagos just so they can feel among, feel like they're part of the elite. A part of me would condemn those people. Another part of me would actually understand where they're coming from. I went for this tech event, networking event, I think about 2 years ago. I know I've mentioned this event like 3 times on this podcast, but I'm going to be talking about the event now from a different perspective. We're talking perspectives. Okay, so I went to this event with my friend. The event was cool, it was chilled at the beginning. Everybody was just like, we're all just trying to make friends, be friendly, play games, because it was very casual, like just something out of the workspace. You're just trying to make friends, you're trying to be friendly, you're trying to just be yourself. Then this MC came and said, okay, it's time for me to spoil the fun for everybody. Let's introduce ourselves. It was time for us to introduce ourselves. And, people started introducing themselves. We had people that have been in the tech space for years, PMs at Google, designers at Microsoft, developers at Andela. And the list just went on, like big roles, big companies. And there was me and there was my friend. At the time, both of us were just trying to get into the tech space. I was trying to get in as a PM. She was trying to get in as a product designer. Product manager is PM. But we're still at our former jobs, where I was working as a VA and she was working as a customer service at different companies, but companies that were not, just medium-sized companies, basically. All the introduction was going on and it was gradually getting to my turn. I started shivering inside. I was like, okay, do I lie? Do I say the truth? I just felt so confused. But when it got to my turn, I just stood up and owned up to my truth. Like, after the introduction, I just felt so weird. People were gauging each other, basically. After the event now, everyone was trying to speak to people that are working as PMs in Google, speak to people that are working at Andela, big companies. You're just trying to network with people that you feel you would have things to benefit from. And at that point, I already zoned out of the event. I just wanted to go home. I just wanted to be in my bed. I was just tired. I think peer pressure. Yeah, I was feeling pressured somehow. Then there was this guy that was speaking to my friend, who introduced himself to us as a tech founder, and we exchanged contacts. He was like, oh, he's looking for a PM, and I started pitching myself to him. To cut the long story short, I messaged this guy and he was so salty. He was rude in his responses and he really just pissed me off. Then I blocked him and I moved on. A few days later, I found out from my friend, who was still in contact with him, that is actually not a tech founder, but a CEO of a fashion design. And I was shocked. Not that being a fashion designer is bad or anything. No, it's cool. But why did he have to lie? And at the end of the day, he was even proud again. I could have brought him new customers. I could have patronized his brand. Probably was there to meet the tech bros and, connect with them and help them make outfits. But he couldn't because he was pressured into calling himself a founder. It was just a very funny situation. And a lot of people fake being who they are not because they feel pressured and they just feel like, oh, okay, they have to fit in. So they do these things to fit in. They give in to societal pressure and, they're just trying to impress people and just enjoy the moment. This is actually a very, very terrible approach or terrible way of using fake it till you make it, okay, because it just blocks people from getting life-changing opportunities. So the negative use of fake it till you make it is more like pretending to be who you are not. So on the other hand, in the positive life, fake it till you make it can be pretending to be who you want to be. So the first one is pretending to be who you're not. The second is pretending to be who you want to be. So the approach we take to these things are actually very different. So how do you pretend to be who you want to be? Pretending to be who you want to be can actually help you to get opportunities. It can help you to unlock new level of success. It can help you to redefine yourself. And it is actually the best way, or let's say it is one of the best ways in which you can use to pick up new habits, pick up new hobbies, new personality traits. So you're trying to do it until you become it, or practice until it becomes your reality. For instance, we can actually fake confidence till we actually become confident. When I was about starting my podcast, I had so many doubts. I had so many questions. When I was actually very camera shy. And I was just wondering how I was going to be making the videos. At some point, I wanted to settle for just audio. Then 2, I had problems with my voice. I felt I wasn't sounding podcasty enough. And 3, I was just scared that I was going to have a problem with consistency. However, I buried this doubt in me. At the time, speaking to my friends about my podcast, I sounded so confident. I sounded like I had it all planned out. I had everything under control. So that way, nobody was asking me funny questions. Nobody just like, oh, okay, we support you. How are you like putting yourself out there? Where are you starting from? How can I help you? Everyone was just trying to help me, get started. Nobody was asking, oh, are you sure you can do this? Are you sure you can do that? Basically, if you do not believe in yourself confidently, people would not believe in you. People will doubt you, continuously doubt your abilities and doubt what you can do. The process of actually believing in ourselves is very continuous because as we continually progress, as we're growing, we're unlocking new challenges, we're facing different level of fears, and as we're facing this process, we find ourselves struggling with self-doubt, we find ourselves struggling with self-confidence, we find ourselves struggling with imposter syndrome, we find ourselves struggling to actually trust the process. So in the process of doing all these things, in the process of facing these internal conflicts that we constantly face as we progress in life, we must always look confident because people will only take us as seriously as we take ourselves. The way we present ourselves, the way we position ourselves influences how seriously people will take us, influences the kind of opportunities they would recommend us for, the kind of opportunities that will come our way. Training back to like my days as an undergraduate student, I dreaded class presentations, and to appear confident during presentations, I used to gesticulate a lot, and I actually still gesticulate. I think it has become a part of me. That's it. You do it till it becomes a part of you. So like I used to gesticulate a lot, and during presentations I'm like this, trying to carry people along, trying to show people that, oh, I know what I'm doing, I'm confident even though I am shaky inside, I'm doubting myself inside. I just try to just come off to people as being confident, and it actually did work because there was a time a colleague of mine walked up to me and she was like, how do you do it? Like, how are you always so confident during your presentations? I was like, sis, I'm not confident actually, I'm just trying to front it, I'm trying to act confident. Before I actually knew what was happening, I actually got used to presenting, I got used to gesticulating, and I really got comfortable with talking in front of people. Also at times we have to fake believing in our skills till we actually believe in them and become so good at them. After acquiring a new skill, after learning something new, we need that first opportunity, somebody to take a chance on us. But people would not take a chance on us if we don't show them that we actually know what we're doing and we're sure that we would actually deliver if we're given the chance. To get that first opportunity, we need to believe in our skills and position ourselves as somebody who understands the tasks ahead and somebody who is ready to learn and grow. I've missed the opportunities by not believing in myself, and I've also gotten some opportunities by highly believing in myself. Yeah, so I was called for this job to interpret as a simultaneous interpreter. Before that job, I had actually not done it before. So when the person called me during the interview with the person was like, oh, have you done this before? Do you know how to go about this? And I said, no, I've never done it before. Like, I don't even know if I can do this, but I will try. And this person said, okay, I'll get back to you. And the person never got back to me. When I was called to do my first job as a translator, the person also asked, have you done this before? It was my first job. I took a course in school on translation. And I was like, yes, I've done this before. I'm going to deliver. And he gave me this test job. I gave him my all. I did it well. And, that was it. So from these two situations, I got to understand that nobody will take a chance on you if you do not show them that you're actually worth the risk. Imagine you're trying to buy this hair growth product and you have something like, this product, there's no guarantee that your hair will grow, boldly written on the product. Would you purchase it? Like, would you buy it? I'm actually guessing the answer is no, because who wants to use a product with such disclaimer? That's how it is. In this same light, nobody is willing to take a chance on somebody who is not sure of their ability, somebody who cannot speak boldly of their abilities. Nobody wants to be elaborate. When I'm saying things like, I cannot do it, I think we have to learn to say things like, oh, I've heard about this before, I can try it out, I've heard about it a couple of times, I'm willing to put my skills to use, I'm going to deliver, and along the line I'm willing to learn and grow. You just say things that positions you as a person that is willing to do what it takes to get the results, to get the desired results. Also, in creating and marketing your personal brand, you might have to fake it till you make it. So fake it till you make it, when it comes to building a personal brand, is not about building your brand on a web of lies. Trust me, it always backfires. Rather, it's about being futuristic. I mean, what kind of taglines do you associate with your brand? How do you position your brand? What story is your brand trying to tell? Okay, currently, I do not have a tagline, but there's this tagline I kind of find very interesting, and it's used by a Nigerian food critic. The tagline is, I'm the biggest food critic in Nigeria, or the biggest food critic in Nigeria, something in that line. When the person started using the tagline, the person was not popular. However, gradually and slowly, by putting in the work, the person is actually now the biggest food critic in Nigeria. Faking it till you make it. When it comes to your business, it's about strategic positioning. It's about just building your business, building your image futuristically. Like, you're trying to be who you want to be, not who you are not. So you're doing the work, you believe it, you say it, and you work. You're trying to do the work to get there. You're trying to do the work to attain that level of success you're willing to attain. You're positioning yourself to align with the kind of businesses you aim to be like. Lastly, fake it till you make it can be used to pick up new habits. It's even the easiest, fastest way to actually pick up a new habit. Once you start speaking with a foreign accent, start faking it. Watch American movies. If it's a British accent, watch British movies till you start speaking like them, like in it. A friend sent me this Instagram reel during the week of this guy that was actually speaking to his tenant. He's located in the UK, and he wanted to show that he's not a Nigerian anymore, and the accent has changed, level has changed. He was trying to pronounce electricity in the voice notes, and he goes, electricity. And the person goes, electricity. The electricity is very, very expensive right now. So yeah, I found it really funny. You can actually use fake it till you make it to pick up new habits, and you can also use fake it till you make it to pick up new hobbies like dancing. One thing I've learned from my Afrobeat dance class so far is the dance is about the attitude, it's about the facial expression. It goes beyond just knowing the steps. So, and that's the level I'm yet to unlock. So I want to unlock it with fake it till you make it. I know deep down that I cannot dance, but when I just come up, I just and everybody just thinks, oh, this person is a very good dancer, and before it becomes my reality. However, if I don't do the work of learning how to dance, it will never become my reality. In a nutshell, what I'm just trying to say is fake it till you make it can actually be a game changer. It all depends on the perspective through which it is being understood and the way in which it is being applied. You can use it to condition your mind. You can use it to get yourself to do the things you have to do. You can use it to help yourself to be who you want to be. But it doesn't work in isolation. While you're trying to fake it till you make it, you have to be very intentional. You have to be very hardworking. You have to be very sincere with yourself, with people, and you have to be very humble. Humility is very key, so you can see the opportunities that are right in front of you. And yeah, I think with this application of fake it till you make it, you might actually get positive results from actually faking it till you make it. On this week's episode of our chit chat section, we'll be talking about something a bit serious, and that's the situation of things, the economic situation of our country, Nigeria. New policies were launched by the federal government during the course of the week, and I found them really appalling. And I decided to ask the listeners of the Becoming You podcast via my social media channels or my social media handles how they're able to cope with the current economic situation of the country. So I would be playing two of the responses I got. Actually, two of the responses I got is just me faking it till I make it. I actually only got 2 responses, so there's no off day. So I'll be playing the 2 responses I got. And so this is what they had to say.
That changes is really eating me, is eating every other person that I know of. And so coping, I will tell you, I'm a faith person, so I will tell you it's by God's grace first. I'll tell you firstly that it's by God's grace coping in this economy where we have challenges like this. It has been by God's grace. And practically, I also add that the one way to cope is to know that challenges are just a phase and they will still pass by. And you just have to keep yourself happy with things that you know that can help you to stay happy. Encouraging yourself every day with words, doing things that will make you happy, so you don't concentrate on the things that are challenges that will not make you happy. And we just keep praying and hope that things get better, and it is still possible to have that life of convenience, that life of comfort and peace that we all dream about.
To me, basically, I think the best coping mechanism is literally not to think about it. Because when you don't think about the odds, like, you're probably like trying to surmount an order, the government like introduce like 4 more. So also not think much about it. Fine, like what I mean by that is like not letting that affect what you're doing currently, and like trying to continue do what you're doing. So I think that's the major thing that works for me. I don't I'm not fixated on the issue itself, so I just...
To be sincere, things aren't really smiling, things aren't really fair right now in Nigeria, and things aren't as easy as they should be. It's so good to see people still trying to find reasons to go after their dreams, trying to find ways in which they can handle the whole situation. Pray and hope we continuously get the strength we need to move ahead in these difficult times, and we're able to keep our hopes alive, keep the fire burning, and we're able to stay strong and not give up on ourselves. Please, if you're also a Nigerian living in Nigeria, please drop your comments on how you're trying to cope with the economic situation and let me know how you're doing. Bye catch you in the next episode. Till then, have an amazing weekend and an amazing 7 days. Bye. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next episode. Do not forget to live every moment and leave no room for regrets. Remember to follow this channel so you get notification whenever I drop a new episode. Thank you. Bye.